Yes.
I've been to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, and they have videos of people telling their stories.
Yes.
Is your story there?
Oh, yeah,
at
sure.
the museum? Okay.
Dad, why don't you tell about what?
Spielberg. You have a question, Shia?
I have a question. Speaking of kids, you've been subjected to so much insanity in your lifetime. How do you explain the complete normality of your 3 children?
First of all, let me...
So it's a rhetorical question.
They are not normal. Number one, this guy is called the Chubby Bunny. You ever heard of that? How many marshmallows?
50.
50 marshmallows. Is that sane?
Sir, could you repeat what her question was?
Yes, I want to get back to your question though, for a second. I didn't answer. There are videos. Spielberg, bless his heart, gave a lot of money and he recorded Holocaust survivor stories. Like Spielberg's men with their fancy equipment, and I mean really fancy equipment, came into my house, okay, and videoed my story for 2 hours. Now they did this to all survivors that they could find throughout the world, not just in America, in Israel, and wherever they were, wherever he could find them. And he got some like 50,000 stories, which he now has donated this whole archive to USC, University of Southern California, is the keeper. How could I say that in here? Lightning! Anyway, that school is the keeper of it, and they're putting all these stories on the computer. If you go to a certain university, like UC Berkeley, and go to the computer and look this up, you can probably find my story. You can probably see the whole 2 hours. That's how they're doing this. Eventually, they're going to have all the stories on computers, so they'll be accessible, so that for 50 years from now, when we're all gone, because I plan to live another 45 or so, when we're all gone, a teacher like Mindy, 2nd grade or whatever grade, she wants to pull up a live story. She can pull me up or whoever and have me talk to the kids. You see? So that's what's being done with that. And that was done worldwide.
Was your mother's story ever captured?
Yes, my mother's story, my stepfather's story. The only one who was not, unfortunately, was my brother. He died way before this happened. But yeah, almost anytime you meet a Holocaust survivor, the odds are 95% that they have a story that they were told, that they told the story. Some refused because they couldn't do it. And Spielberg got enough volunteers to work with him, so he actually had like a person sitting next to me while I was doing this. You know, I didn't need it, but I'm sure some people really needed that support to tell their stories.
Tell about the book.
Yeah, I also put a book together. I have some prods here.
It's your marketing director.
Yeah, my wife and her sister, we wanted to get my mother's story because, you know, I was just a little kid, but my mother really knew the facts, knew the details. So she wouldn't do it, so my wife and her sister took a tape recorder, put it in front of a table, and asked my mother questions for days and days and days, and recorded all this. And I took this record, put it in a computer, and put it in the right order, and I put a book together. I never had it published. If anybody here is a publisher, I'm still looking for a publisher. But I only put, there are a lot of Holocaust stories. And this is, I think, unique, but I have a little bias. It's about 100 pages, and I had put about 100 books out, which, you know, this was like the greatest thing that ever happened to my mother, aside from living, is because she was so proud of this. She was able to send copies to her friends and her relatives, and, you know, it was really something, a big, big plus for my mother. That's really why I did it. But I would like to get it published eventually.
Your website.
The interviews
that Spielberg did, are they available publicly on the internet? Do you know?
Well,
or are they just available on campus?
On campuses primarily, but I have a website. I did bring some. I brought some business cards. I didn't bring many because I didn't expect to need 100 of them. But I did bring some cards. But basically, if you want to tear off the leaflets we have here, and I have extra ones here, since I don't need them anymore. My website's on here. Like, my website has some stories on it.
Easy to remember.
Okay, it's just my last name .us. My nephew took the .com. He was first. He was first.
We're still in negotiations.
I have a few business cards that I'll be glad to let anybody take that really wants, and this flyer. And on my site, it's a site that's almost 90% dedicated to the Holocaust, okay? Like and I don't have any long stuff on there. I have like a 6-minute video that tells some of the things I've talked about. Because I find if it's over 6 minutes, nobody watches. So I have some short stuff on there and some other stuff that you can see. So you're welcome, obviously, to look at it. I unfortunately had to pull off the book. I had the book on there, but I had to take it down because, as I mentioned, I'm in some difficulty with litigations in Poland with one of the properties. They're trying to take one of my properties back that we got. So the lawyer advised me to take some stuff off of that. Primarily because, see, we were living in Poland next to Germany, and that presents a problem. And that those borders shifted, so that's why. So anyway, just to, I don't want to go into the details of that. So some of that's pulled off. But about a year from now, it'll be back on there, So don't hesitate to take this if you'd like, if you have a real interest. Yes, sir.
Bob, I just curious. You said you've been back to Poland?
Yes, many times.
How long ago?
Well, the last time I took the whole family. In fact, even Hope went, my niece. Not her kids, unfortunately. But
3 years ago.
Shia and his wife and my other 2 daughters went. And that was 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago. And we went to see the properties, like in Berlin. We stood on the land and yelled.
Did you really?
In Poland, we went to see the properties. And of course, the Berlin isn't ours anymore. I sold that. But the Polish stuff, and they met some of the people that take care of the properties, just in case I don't make it for another 45 years, and they have to take care of it. So,
Is it, what's it like? Is it, do you feel like the entire heritage that was there when you were there is gone? Is there any kind of remnants of it left? Is it rebuilding, or
Well, Poland is
it just like everybody just forgot about? I mean, is just the history that happened just completely wiped off the
I'm really
map?
glad you asked that question, because I would have forgotten to say this. About 2 weeks ago, in Krakow, Poland, which is if you ever go to Poland, forget about any other city, just go to Krakow. Remember that. Forget Warsaw, forget. Krakow is a city to see and stay in. It's a wonderful city. It's like Prague, it's like Budapest, it's like Paris. It's like one of those kind of cities that was not touched by a single bullet during the war, okay? But anyway, there was a Jewish festival in Krakow 2 weeks ago. Can you imagine that? I was floored when I heard this. In fact, I met a professor about a week ago when I was, in Los Angeles, a professor that went to that Jewish festival. Now that's amazing if you think about it, because of the 3.3 million Jews in Poland, there are 20,000 left. 20,000 they claim. Of these 20,000, only 5,000 admit that they're Jews. Okay, so basically there are like 5,000 Jews in Poland from 3.3 million.